Faith, healing instrument. Is religious faith a factor in healing? Many testimonies reveal that it is. If properly applied, faith is a powerful factor in overcoming illness and restoring health. Many doctors, including a Viennese surgeon, Dr. Hans Finsterer, share my convictions. Here is one of the many articles published about him titled, "A Surgeon Guided by God." At 72 years old, this professor at the University of Vienna has performed over 20,000 surgical interventions, including 8,000 gastric resections, removing parts of the stomach, all under local anesthesia only. According to the doctor, the considerable advances in medicine, especially surgery, in recent years do not guarantee the success of all interventions. Sometimes, during a simple surgical operation, a patient does not survive, while in other cases some patients recover when all hope seemed lost. Some of our colleagues say that these facts are unpredictable, while others attribute them to the invisible hand of God. However, in recent years, most doctors and patients have unfortunately lost the conviction that everything was ultimately attributable to God. When we are convinced of the importance of God's help in our activities, particularly in the care we provide to our patients, significant progress will have been made in the field of healing. So concludes this great surgeon who relies on both science and faith. I had the honor of addressing representatives from a national industry gathered at a congress. It was an important meeting of leaders from a company where creativity was celebrated. The people gathered were true pioneers in this field and had made this company a vital factor in North American economic life. At the time of the convention banquet, one of the organizers of the meeting, which had the theme of the rise in production costs, taxes and problems related to business, asked me, "Do you believe in the healing power of faith?" There is significant documentation on this phenomenon supported by indisputable testimonies, I replied. I obviously do not believe that one should rely solely on faith and make it the only means of healing. I believe more in the conjunction of faith and science. There is indeed an interest in resorting to the science of faith as well as that of medicine, both fundamental elements of the healing process. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with a jawbone tumor that, according to doctors, was incurable. You can imagine my despair. I sought help with the force of desperation. I regularly attended church, but I was not a religious man. I rarely read the Bible. But one day, while lying in bed, I asked my wife to bring it to me, to her great surprise, because I had never made such a request before. I began to read, and I found solace and comfort in it. I gradually became more optimistic and less discouraged. My reading periods grew longer every day, and surprisingly, my swelling decreased. At first, I thought I was dreaming, but evidently, astonishing changes were taking place within me. One day, while reading the Bible, I felt a strange sensation of warmth and inner well-being that was difficult to describe, which I gave up trying to do. From that moment on, my healing accelerated. I went back to see the doctors who had made the initial diagnosis. They examined me again. Clearly surprised by the improvement in my condition, they advised me to be cautious, as it might only be a remission. Later, however, after further examinations, they had to admit that the tumor had completely disappeared. They warned me the illness would probably reappear, but it did not worry me at all, because deep down I knew I was healed. "How long have you been healed?" I asked. 14 years. I saw before me a strong, healthy man, a man who, nevertheless, had been condemned to death. How had this happened? Thanks to medicine and healing faith. The healing of this man is just one among many others, many of which have been attested to by medical observations. It seems that we should encourage people to have more faith in the great power of faith in healing. Unfortunately, this dimension of faith has been largely neglected. Yet I am certain that it can perform miracles, and it does so regularly. In fact, these miracles are nothing but the result of the practical application of spiritual scientific laws. Many years ago, a doctor friend of mine, Dr. Clarence Lieb, pointed out to me the effects that spiritual and psychiatric problems have on physical health. His wise counsel opened my eyes to fear, guilt, hatred, and resentment. These feelings undoubtedly have repercussions on people's health. On the other hand, Doctors Bird, Berkowitz, and Vescott discovered the psychosomatic cause of high blood pressure. It is a subtle form of repressed fear, a fear of things that could happen, not of actual present things. It is actually a fear of the future, therefore purely imaginary fear. In the case of diabetes, sorrows and disappointments are the two types of emotions that are the biggest energy consumers. They use all the insulin secreted by the cells of the pancreas until they are completely exhausted. In the cases we are interested in, we are dealing with emotions that involve the past. We relive the past and cannot turn to the future. The medical world can help people suffering from such disorders. There are medications that lower blood pressure when it is high or raise it when it is low, but not permanently. Injected insulin will turn sugar into energy, which of course will relieve the diabetic. However, these means do not cure. There is no medicine, no vaccine that can protect us from internal emotional conflicts. A better understanding of our own mechanisms and a return to religious faith so far constitute the most promising combination for permanent relief. In almost every case, the patient mentions a moment when he felt warmth, fire, beauty, peace, joy, and a sense of liberation in one form or another. Healing has sometimes been sudden, sometimes more gradual. In each of these cases, during these investigations, I waited for some time to pass before considering the healing as definitive. It will therefore not be possible to say that it is a simple remission or temporary improvement that could have resulted from a return of strength or a temporary respite. After reflecting on the power of faith and its potential to bring about healing, consider integrating moments of spiritual reflection and positivity into your daily life. Embrace the teachings of faith and science as complementary forces, recognizing their collective ability to promote well-being and resilience in the face of challenges. Take time to nourish your soul through prayer, meditation, or uplifting readings that resonate with your beliefs. Engage in acts of kindness and compassion towards yourself and others, fostering a supportive community grounded in faith and understanding. By nurturing your spiritual connection and maintaining a hopeful outlook, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and strength that contributes to your overall health and healing journey.